Hey guys, if you hear my microwave go off, just ignore it. I'm making dinner. It's about like almost like 4 or 5 here. Anyway, so we're talking about Degrassi Junior High Season 3, and this is the end of the Junior High episode, so let's jump into it. Episode 1, Can't Live With Them, Part 1. As the new school year begins, Wheels receives some tragic news. 8th graders Arthur and Yik conspire to make life miserable for a new 7th grader. So, parents forbid hanging out with bad kid and crush on upperclassmen, and parents get hit by a drunk driver. So, I'm probably going to put a trigger warning at the beginning of this video like there was at the last video, so yes. Not solved because there's a tragedy. So Wheels and his parents were fighting, and then the tragedy struck and they never got to get that figured out, which is really upsetting. Maybe later the crush on the upperclassmen gets brought up. I guess it was never really brought up again. And next part is about his parents. So, Can't Live With Them, Part 2. After hearing about the accident, no one knows what to say to Wheels, especially best friend Snake. Meanwhile, Lucy begins to neglect LD for her new boyfriend. So, parents' death, school elections, crush on upperclassmen. So, Wheels beats up Joey and blames him for his parents' death because he's like, if you never made me go out that night, my parents would still be alive. Like, basically saying that if he was in the car, he could have stopped the accident, which is not how it goes. And eventually, Wheels talks to his grandmother, which is good. And he apologizes to Joey, which I think is good because you beat the shit out of Joey. Like, and Joey was just trying to help. School elections are ongoing for right now. Crush on the upperclassmen is ongoing. And Fred Now Rich is ongoing. And child support payment is ongoing. So there was a lot that happened in that episode. Excuse me. Episode 3. A Big Girl Now. Lucy begins spending more time with Paul at the expense of her friends. And Kathleen snubs Melanie after being elected vice president. So, the soccer game is the update. And they ended up winning the game. Sex, crush on younger classmate, dealing with trauma, election results, betraying friend. So, boyfriend tries to pressure girlfriend to have sex because he wants to. So Paul is trying to get Lucy to have sex with him because he's like, come on, I'm your boyfriend, I want to have sex with you. And she's like, but I don't want to, like, get out, go, leave. And I think it was good of Lucy to stand up for herself. And if she doesn't want to have sex, she doesn't have to have sex. If you don't want to have sex, you don't have to. Nobody can make you have sex. Crush on classmates ongoing. Snake finally speaks to Wheels, which I think is good because I feel like that helped Wheels to have both of his friends by his side through all that. Nancy wins and Kathleen is vice president, which that's how elections go. Sometimes you don't always win president, but you give it your all. Melanie pours milk on Kathleen when she says 8th graders are too immature to be on the dance committee. And all Melanie wanted to do was be on the dance committee. So I think it was good of Melanie to kind of get the comeuppance on Kathleen. You know, kind of like put her in her place, so to speak. And a rumor that started. Paul tells everyone that Lucy and him had sex. Obviously it's just a rumor, but that happens in a later episode. So we'll get there later. Episode 4, Season's Greetings. As Christmas approaches, memories of their strong friendship help the feuding Arthur and Yik patch things up. Shane gets to hold his daughter Emma, when she has come to school with Spike. So, Arthur's cousin reminds him of all the good times, and there's lots of flashbacks. I love episodes like that. Anyway, friends fighting, father meets his baby, and fixed furnace. So Arthur and Yik make up for the season of Christmas, which I think it's really good that Arthur's cousin was helping Arthur and Yik get through their problems and realize that they still should be friends no matter what happened. Spike looks happy to see Shane with Emma, and he's happy too. And I think it was really cute when he said, like, hi Emma, I'm your daddy, or something like that. That was really cute because, you know, it's just, it showed that he really wanted to be involved and he really wanted to be there. And we'll get to why I feel so bad for Shane later, but I feel so bad for Shane. And the lady fixes the furnace, so the school is fixed, which is good. Just in time for Christmas, she fixes the furnace. You'll see why I say that later. Episode 5, Loves Me Not. As the school dance approaches, Caitlin's crush on Joey intensifies. Dorothy falls for Yick, and Shy Michelle reveals her interest in BLT to the wrong person. So I guess Dorothy is Arthur's cousin's name. I never figured it out. Crush on classmate. 3 people have crushes and make friend jealous. So Caitlin's crush. Caitlin stops hanging out with Joey and she's hurt. So I think it was good for Caitlin to put some space between her and Joey when she got hurt, seeing that he took Liz to the dance. But I do feel like there should have been more communication between them, like how Joey felt about Caitlin, but you know. Arthur's cousin, which is Dorothy, squirts Yick with water every morning, which she's interacting with him, but at that point, you should really just tell them and see if they feel the same. And Michelle goes with Simon to the dance because Alexa likes BLT. So Michelle felt bad that Alexa liked her crush, so then she decided to go to the dance with Simon. Yeah. I didn't think that was a great idea either. Michelle says to Alexa, Alexa says to Michelle, waiting for a bus line. So it's like Alexa said, oh, Michelle, boys are like a bus. If you don't catch the first one, there's another one a few minutes later. So then Michelle said while passing Alexa at the dance when she's with Simon, Alexa, are you waiting for a bus? I loved that because Michelle is such a shy character, and that girl boss moment, yes, queen. We love to see it. I love Michelle. Episode 6, He Ain't Heavy. Snake's older brother comes home and reveals that he is gay, which Snake finds difficult to accept. Joey takes a job as a janitor at Crazy Radio in an attempt to get his band discovered. So, basketball tryouts, making gay jokes, crush on classmate, and rumor. So, basketball tryouts, TBD. We never find out. I'm sure Snake made the team, but we don't know. Snake's brother comes out, and Snake apologizes to his brother. I like how Snake was able to own up and be like, look, you deserve an apology. I shouldn't have acted the way that I acted. It was wrong, and I'm sorry, and you're still my brother. Joey tried to talk to Caitlin. Caitlin doesn't want to talk to Joey. She wants nothing to do with him at this point, which, honestly, girl, take your time to heal. And Lucy didn't have sex. And she even went up to Paul and was like, did we or did we not have sex? And obviously he couldn't look her in the eye. He couldn't answer. So that's when people knew she didn't have sex. Also, Arthur doesn't want people to know he's rich. I kind of understand that. You know, you don't want people to ask to be friends with you just because you're rich, you know? So, Episode 7, The Whole Truth. Caitlin learns a lesson in balanced journalism when she writes an article on animal rights, and Joey tries to get his demo tape heard at a radio station. So, protest, makeup, and job at radio station. So, research was not as bad as Caitlin thought. So, you know, research on animals. What I learned in my biological psychology class is my teacher was doing research at the school with the rats and the mice in the school. Actually, rats and mice raised in laboratory are often treated better than ones that are pets. They have a very, very balanced diet. They're on a very strict diet, but they're fed better than most pets. They have better living conditions. Like, I have seen, like, those rats and mice are living like royalty from what my teacher was showing us. Like, nowadays, obviously, back then when this episode was made in the 80s, it wasn't like that. I'm just saying nowadays in laboratories, the animals are taken more care of. And most makeup and hair dye companies are now not using animals for treatments. I know I use, for my hair dye, I use Manic Panic, which is the one from Hayley Williams, which doesn't test on animals. Or I forget the other one. But the other one I use, they also don't test on animals. So that's very good. And I don't wear makeup very often. You guys don't see makeup on my face very often. So, you know. Anyway, but Caitlin lets Liz know that not everything is torture, like with Caitlin's medicine, but Liz doesn't care. You know Liz, she's a brick wall once she makes a decision. But I'm glad that Caitlin was like, if they didn't test on animals, I wouldn't have my epilepsy medication. And, you know, she did her research, which I think is what you have to do in that type of situation. A girl has to quit the newspaper because her dad works for a makeup company. And Caitlin is writing an article to protest the makeup company, and the girl's like, I'm sorry, I just can't stand for this with you. My dad could lose his job. And Dr. Sally compliments Joey's tape. And I think it's really good for Joey to hear a compliment from someone that big on the radio, because that shows him that he can actually make it. He can actually do well. So I think that just gave Joey a not much needed confidence boost, because he has enough confidence for like 7 people. Episode 8, Star-Crossed. Erica trades identities with her twin sister to pursue a boy. Alexa and Simon reconcile. So, horoscopes, X not leaving you alone, and X's friend likes his X. So, do not believe every astrology misconception, like signs not being compatible with other signs. I will explain that. So, I am a Gemini. I dated a Cancer. Didn't work, but we were good for about 6 months. Before that, we were good for 11 months. This is somebody that I dated twice. One of my best friends is a Cancer. Still a Gemini. I had a crush on a Virgo. The Virgo, I think, liked me back. We had some chemistry going between us. I'm dating an Aries. They say Gemini and Aries shouldn't date. I didn't get along enough with a Sagittarius to date them. But Gemini and Aries, they say shouldn't date. Next month it'll be a year with my boyfriend who's an Aries. So you can't really judge by just based on horoscopes. I mean, I don't even read horoscopes. I will read stuff about the signs, like compatibility, but I don't base everything on compatibility at the end of the day. So Paul gave up on Lucy because he realized she didn't want him back, and I think it's good to give up on your ex, you know, if they don't want to get back together. Hint, hint, for an ex that won't leave me alone. Clutch flirts with Lucy the whole time at the bowling alley. Well, Clutch is trying to shoot his shot with Lucy, and that's in his right. That's all I can really say about that. Friend wants X back. Alexa gets Simon back, which, do we think that's a good idea? Poor Simon. And then BLT talks to Michelle, and he asks to walk her home, which I think is really sweet because I love BLT and Michelle. I love them. They're so cute. Anyway, episode 9, Food for Thought. Kathleen shows signs of a dangerous eating disorder when pressures mount at home and school. That's another reason why the trigger warning is at the beginning. So, father travels for work a lot, and alcoholic mother, eating disorder, and girlfriend trying to lose weight. She thinks boyfriend wants that. So, obviously, Kathleen is the first Ellie. So let's get into it. So, all of this pressure pushes Kathleen to have an ED, which, I'm sorry, I should have said ED, which is not good. Obviously, it's never good. But I'm glad that, you know, what happens later happens later. I'm glad that, Kathleen faints from not eating, and Miss Avery comes around, and Melanie tells Miss Avery, which I think was good, tell a trusted adult what's going on, and Miss Avery sends Kathleen to the nurse, which I think was good. I know Kathleen was going to be upset at Melanie, but it's good that she got the help that she needed. I'm glad she had a good friend that was concerned about her. And Simon asked Alexa out again and said that he never said she was fat. He never said she was fat. He was just agreeing with what she said, but I don't think he really understood what he was agreeing to, because I don't think he really understood what she was saying. That was just a miscommunication and should have never happened, but dumb high school kids. Episode 10, $20. Melanie, determined to go on a date with Snake, commits a desperate act. Shane claims he can't make child support payment. So, bet on getting a date, cannot buy tickets, asking someone out. So, Joey gets the money from BLT because he had a date with Caitlin. And obviously, you should never bet on asking somebody out. Oh my God, that reminds me of a story. So, you probably heard this in the Dagger story. If you didn't, you can find it in the relationship timeline. But I need to go to the bathroom when I was not Dagger, Apricot. I need to go to the bathroom when I was hanging out with Apricot and Brayden, and they took me, and Apricot texted Brayden when we were inside to come out because he needed to tell him something. And so Apricot and Brayden were talking, and Apricot's like, oh my gosh, she's so hot, like, I want to date her, I want to be with her, like, whatever. And Brayden's just like, oh, I like her too. And Apricot's like, oh. And he's like, fine. Whoever kisses her first gets her. Why? But yeah, so. Melanie tells her mom and gets grounded because she stole the money from her mother to buy tickets when she could have just told Snake she couldn't afford the tickets, but Melanie sells the ticket to Spike that Snake gave her because she's grounded and can't go to the concert. So it all worked out in that regard for Spike. And Caitlin pours the Coke on Joey. He rips up the money and tells her that he wanted to go out with her anyway. Which is good that Joey owned up and told Caitlin, you know, I want to go out with you anyway, but oh Lord, these episodes. Episode 11, Taking Off Part 1. A card from his biological father and fighting with his grandmother lead Wheels to a decision. Shane is introduced to hard drugs. So, acid, finding birth dad, tutored by Crush, and the concert's just an update. So, Shane never came home after the concert, which obviously is worrying. I mean, he took acid. You don't know where he is. Luke lying to the police wasn't a great idea. And hitchhikes. Creepy guy's car. This guy tries to have sex with Wheels. Obviously not okay. Wheels getting out of the car is obviously a good choice, but it's dangerous to hitchhike. Please never hitchhike. It's dangerous. You don't know the people you can encounter, especially nowadays. It's even worse. And Tutored by Crush is ongoing. Joey just keeps getting tutored by Caitlin. Episode 12, Taking Off Part 2. Shaner fails to return home from the concert. Wheels' reunion with his musician father isn't exactly harmonious. Acid, find birth dad, Shane is missing. So Luke tells the police the truth that Shane took acid, which it was good for you to finally own up, you know, too little too late. But I guess it's good that you finally owned up. Mike tells Wheels he can't stay with him, which sometimes it's like that. Like, sometimes you can't always go find your parents and stay with them. That's not how it works. Like, that, you can't just go and stay with your parent. And Shane is missing. Police found Shane at the bottom of a bridge, barely alive. It looks like he jumped or fell. We still don't know to this day. In The Next Generation, I know Shane says, I fell and hit my head. I don't know if Degrassi decided to tell you then that he fell, because then Snake later says in that episode in The Next Generation that he either jumped or fell. Nobody knows, so we don't know. But I'm glad he was alive. That's what I mean by I feel bad for Shane, is he tried to make all the right decisions, and one bad decision he made led to him being brain damaged for the rest of his life. And he was kind of pressured by Luke. So, yeah, we don't support Luke here. Episode 13, Making Whoopi. Arthur begins to resent his father's girlfriend. Melanie has new competition for Snake's affections, and Luke tries to deal with his guilt over Shane's accident. So, envy, parent dating, friend feels guilty. So, Kathleen put Melanie and Snake together as tour guides to try to help Melanie get with Snake, which I think was a good thing for Kathleen to do. Of course, then Kathleen started making demands. Classic Kathleen. Dad talks to Arthur. I think it was good for the parent to talk to their child and be like, you know, they broke up with me. They don't want to be involved with me anymore. Kind of because what you did, but, you know, talk to him in a more parental way. And Tim tells Luke to go see Shane and tells him off, which I think was good. It's like, you can't just run away from your responsibilities. You were the one that got him to do this. You need to man up and go see him. Episode 14, Black and White. Michelle and BLT learn about prejudice after deciding to attend a graduation dance together. So, prejudice, the dance is an update, and the job interview, which is also prejudice. So Michelle asks BLT to the dance against her parents' wishes, which, honestly, Michelle and BLT like each other. Michelle and BLT should date. It should be that simple. If people like each other, they should date. I'm not gonna speak too much on it just because it's not my place to really speak on that storyline, but it's just if two people like each other, they should be able to date. And the hiring manager made fun of Spike's hair and didn't give her a chance. He said, if I hire her, I can save on scrub brushes, right? What do? Stick your finger in a light socket every morning? And I think it was kind of rude to make fun of her appearance. Like, she was coming for a job. You didn't need to critique her appearance. It was very rude. Yeah, so she didn't get the job, sadly. Episode 15, Party. Trouble is brewing for Lucy, whose new love interest is a problem drinker, and Joey, who says he'll buy beer for a party. So, update is the party. And drinking problem, drunk driving, ask a friend to a party, older person buying beer for you, get caught by police. So, drunk driving. Clutch drives drunk to Lucy's house, and that's not good. He tries to come on to Lucy, and she knees him in the place where the sun don't shine, which I think was good for her. And then Clutch apologizes, but Lucy says it's not good enough, which, stand up for yourself, girl. Let him know that he can't just apologize and come back into your life. Yes. The boys don't show up to the party, Joey, Snake, and Wheels, so the people that invited them there are just like, why aren't they here? And Clutch takes 6 beers for himself, which you don't need that much. I mean, it's for him and Paul, but still, you don't need that much. And Joey, Snake, and Wheels get caught by the police for drinking. Wheels didn't get in trouble because he wasn't drinking, and I think it was bad for Joey to keep egging him on to drink. But, you know, he wasn't drinking, so he didn't get in trouble, but the other two did. Episode 16, Bye Bye Junior High. Degrassi burns down, asks for the last dance at Degrassi. So, foreshadowing, fire drills. Spike's mood swings, Joey trying to impress Caitlin, and Wheels passes. So, Miss Avery says that Spike should count her blessings. Not everyone can have a baby. And I think it was really good of Miss Avery to tell her, you know, count your blessings. Not everybody can have a child. You're lucky to have been able to have a child. Don't say you didn't want your child. Things like that. Joey gets Caitlin flowers and she loves them. And I think it's really cute that he's really trying to, you know, do well and get in her good books. Wheels gets to go to the dance because he passed, which is good that Wheels gets to move on to high school. And Fire. They see the school getting engulfed in flames. And you hear the explosion. And then the school's going up in flames. And I'm glad that Tessa and, what's his name? Tessa and Scooter. I think it's Scooter, right? Yeah, Tessa and Scooter tell them that there's a fire, and that's good. And Shane comes to the dance on a walker, which is really good. I'm glad. And I'm glad that Luke is actually the one in charge of bringing him there, and looks like he's helping take care of him. So, yeah, so there will be a trigger warning. If you guys don't watch the ghost video, I'm going to let you know that I will be going to my cousin's wedding next weekend. And I'm leaving on Friday. So I'll be in South Carolina. I obviously won't be vlogging it because it's time with my family. But I will probably be putting Degrassi High Season 1, that's our next video. I will probably be putting that up. I'll be putting it up Friday, or I'll be putting it up earlier in the week, but it will premiere at 10 a.m. on Saturday so that you guys can have a video on Saturday. I just won't be, you know, I'll be filming it like earlier in the week. Like I'll be filming it on a Monday and it'll come out Saturday. You will have a Wednesday video on normal Wednesday though, because I'm not leaving until Friday because I have my last final on Tuesday. So then I'm going to have Wednesday to rest up. But you guys will have a Wednesday and a Saturday video. I just wanted to let you know if, you know, like, I just want to let you guys know that I won't be, you know, home. And so if you guys see me in the next video and I'm like super tan or sunburned, I don't want you guys to be like, oh my God, like, what did you do? So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.